Princess Anne revealed her royal engagement nightmare in a revealing interview with TV legend Michael Parkinson, archive footage reveals. She described to the Parkinson in Australia host a vivid dream she had during her first royal tour in 1970. The Princess Royal explained how she and her family started their tour in Fiji, came through Tonga and on to New Zealand, where they stayed for about a week. She and her older brother Prince Charles were allowed a couple of days' rest at a sheep station west of Christchurch, and on her first night off she had the nightmare in question. The Princess Royal said, "That night I found myself, I kept trying to wake myself up, because I was absolutely convinced that I was in the middle of a room full of people and that I was supposed to be talking to them, and actually what I was doing was lying down in this room full of people and I just couldn't get up to talk to them. And eventually I woke myself up and it was 2 o'clock in the morning or something and I should have been fast asleep and enjoying myself." It was a rather vivid sort of nightmare. It must have been very vivid as Anne relayed this story to an Australian audience in 1980, a decade after she had the dream. She explained in the interview that she had had to do a lot of shaking hands, chatting and conducting royal walkabouts on the tour around Oceania, adding that it was quite an experience. Mr. Parkinson then asked Princess Anne whether young royals are taught what to do on tour. She quipped, "No, there isn't a school for royal touring," prompting laughter from the audience. Then, the princess added, "I'm afraid it comes with experience. If you ask the questions you may get the answer, but you rather tend to have to ask the question before you get the answer. Because you grow up with it, so they rather think you know everything, and you don't." Anne said she mostly tried to stay out of trouble at first, but ended up getting in more trouble, because she was so busy trying to keep out of the way that she wasn't looking the right way or saying the right thing. It was on this first tour that Anne became aware that she was getting a fair bit of bad press. She was described in the media as sulky and bad-tempered, a theme that would continue for much of her royal career. She told Mr. Parkinson that she thinks it is because she does not fit the fairy tale princess image that people think she should. That said, she insisted the bad press does not bother her. After the tour of Australia, Anne and Charles visited Washington, D.C. at the invitation of President Richard Nixon. Joy Billington, who is a journalist in the U.S. Capitol at the time, described her impression of the princess in the 2002 Channel 4 documentary The Real Princess Anne. She said, "She was very bad-tempered, very sulky. She really didn't want to be there, that was the impression one had." Helen Thomas, very respected journalist, said Princess Anne, "What do you think of the Washington Monument?" And instead of saying very tall, she could have answered in 2 simple words. She said, "I don't give interviews." Meanwhile, royal biographer Kitty Kelly claimed Anne's dismissive behavior made Charles look good by comparison. In her book The Royals, she said that Charles tolerated the tedious questions from reporters, while Anne refused. Ms. Kelly added, "He smiled for photographers, she swatted them like flies."